Hey, everyone. Because weed is legal now doesn't mean your criminal record is clear. You need to visit azexpunge.org today. The Reclaim Your Future campaign can expunge your record for free. Go to azexpunge.org now. Hey Arizona, just because weed is legal now doesn't mean your criminal record is clear. You need to visit azexpunge.org today. The Reclaim Your Future campaign can expunge your record for free. Go to azexpunge.org now. Hey Arizona, just because weed is legal now doesn't mean your criminal record is clear. You need to visit azexpunge.org today. The Reclaim Your Future campaign can expunge your record for free. Go to azexpunge.org now. Hey Arizona, just because weed is legal now doesn't mean your criminal record is clear. You need to visit azexpunge.org today. The Reclaim Your Future campaign can expunge your record for free. Go to azexpunge.org now.
Disclaimer. This video, like all videos featured on this channel, is definitely intended for mature audiences. This video is likely to contain profane language. Content is inappropriate for minors. Video is not for kids.
Welcome to the Dr. Greenthumb Show. Lord of mercy.
Oh my God, Bobo. This is Dr. Greenthumb Show live on Discord, YouTube, Twitch, and the home site, www.brealtvcontest.tv. What it do? Today in the building is a special day because we've never had this man in the building, but this is the first time we've had the legendary Richard Cheech Marin up in here.
How are you?
Yeah.
Thank you. Very nice.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I get the rest of the day off and gonna go home and cook and
What you cooking?
chicken piccata, according to my wife.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites. I do the franchise. It just doesn't have the capers.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it, the lemon chicken. Ooh.
Word up, the concentrate king, Cali Blythe, everyone.
Good day. Good day.
We got Mr. Goodlight, DJ C minus,
Happy Friday.
and Mr. Big Drum Bobo.
Buddy.
Big Bobo. And we have the Treehouse crew, Bolton, Blombo, Bra Bra, and the Dominator. I
Whoa, whoa,
can't
whoa.
sound-
How you guys doing today?
Oh, you're fanning out right now.
Yeah.
Cheech
A
is
little
here
nervous.
and you're nervous. and
Party
Whiffed.
right now.
Bon.
The anxieties are happening for you.
Yep.
Yeah, I know.
Chase the fastball.
Yeah. Hey, we've been having the chicheladas here on the show for quite some time now, and people have had them and loved them. Like, they taste great.
Thank you very much. They do. That's the
Yeah.
one thing we worked on hardest to get the taste right.
Yeah. And Send Dog, he rips through them. Like, he rips absolutely through them. Like, you know, he
Oh,
didn't,
really?
and he didn't really, you know, he wasn't really into drinking infused drinks for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Right. It took him a minute. But when he tried the chichelada and how, you know, it's got that 50% action in there,
And he loved the flavor.
and he loved
It
the
was
flavor,
Real good.
said
Yeah.
it to him right. And we've all tried it. And it is great. So
Well, thank you very much. Keep trying it. I love it because I like micheladas, man. And with
Yeah.
the perfect transition, and that's what the business is trying to do right now. The liquor business,
yeah,
because they took a big hit last year.
yeah, they did.
Oh,
How many you go through? Like, you know, in a sitting, you do like 1 can, 2 cans, or you know.
depends on what I got to do.
Yeah.
All right.
What he needs to get accomplished that day.
Yeah, yeah, because it's yeah. I like to play guitar after.
Nice.
It's
Yeah.
a ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you drink enough, yeah, it's gonna put you there. I mean, Send Dog tells us every time, like, he drinks one of those, he's puts
I think
in.
50 milligrams is a really good
Yeah,
dose,
it
especially
is.
for people like who have a tolerance. It's enough where you'll feel it. And
Yeah.
the people who don't, they're going to get.
They're gonna
The
get
great
Yeah,
thing
it's
about this
perfect.
whole deal is it has this resealable flip top.
Yeah.
You know,
so you could drink some of it,
some
put
of
it
it,
away.
put it back in the fridge.
Yeah.
And
Nope.
it's not
And it-
carbonated, correct?
No, it's
So
not
yeah, it
carbonated.
doesn't lose anything.
So once you open it,
Yeah.
how long does it last? And even if you close it with the,
With that, I
I mean, not that you're trying to keep that for days, but I'm just saying, like,
you're not.
no, you want to drink it, right? You want to drink it.
I don't know.
Well, he's an extremist. He'll drink it all in one shot. this
Yeah,
guy.
people do.
Yeah.
It is not like it that the infusion is 50 milligrams. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
50 milligrams.
Of THC.
Yep.
So, and then there's 16 ounces of that. So
So if you want to cut it in half, you want 25, you drink half.
Yeah.
But
Well,
the half
you know,
later.
You can regulate the thing. I mean, it's kind of meant to be shared. You know, hey, bring it out, and everybody likes it. They have a whole drink of it, or chug it. You know,
I wonder how many people have cross-faded it already. In other words, like using the chichelada and mixing it with the beer and having the experience.
Could be. The thing that makes this one work is we have non-alcoholic beer, but getting that taste right, so it tastes exactly like beer.
Yeah.
And so instead of that, carbonated effect you get from beer, you substitute THC, and it works really well.
I think that's why it tastes so good too.
Yeah, it tastes good, and you get high. So, and it's a nice high too.
It is a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, we definitely all ran through a couple of them here.
Yeah.
For sure. And, people that have had them have enjoyed them for sure.
Bless their hearts.
Bless their hearts.
We like them.
They
may live.
He said it. You may live.
As they were.
Have you collected any new art as of late?
Yeah. Guys from Texas, I've been buying some of their stuff, and a couple ladies.
Like when you look for art, I mean, is it that you really look or you come across it, or is there something you're specifically looking for, like a style, or is it just whatever calls to you?
Well, I specifically collect Chicano art right now. I've been doing it for close to 50 years, and so I look for that. But I'm in the stream of it because of the museum. We opened this museum, the Cheech Museum of Chicano Art and Culture in Riverside.
So it gets submitted to you all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you can't escape it. So, but we're looking for that, and you're looking for communities that continue to produce Chicano art and how it morphs through these communities, what artists stand out, and how you can honor the past as well as the avant-garde of the future, So, but the museum has been really successful. It's really cool.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
We've been trying to get the crew together to make the trip to Riverside.
Yeah.
Field trip.
We should do it. Me and wifey went. We lived near it, and it's absolutely just an amazing thing. Like, just the appreciation. Again, you don't have to be Chicano to like and go and respect and the different styles of the art. And they're ever changing too. So if you have the chance, it's worth the drive.
How many pieces of art are on display?
At one time, about 160.
Wow.
And we rotated. It all started from the town of Riverside came to me and made me this offer to put the collection in this building, which is it was a beautiful modernist building, and right in the middle of town. And it was the town library, and they were building a new library, so they had to repurpose this building, and it kind of just fell out of the sky because I had this big collection of Chicano art that I'd been touring for a long time.
Wow.
And now they offered a permanent home for it. So I said, And it felt like, in the Wizard of Oz where the house is falling from the sky and the house is going to fall on you, because you had to make a decision. Am I going to do this or not?
Yeah.
Because it meant giving them the collection.
Yeah, they're basically caretakers of your collection.
No, they own it.
Oh, they own it now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Because they have to make a long commitment to enshrine it there at the museum.
Oh, right.
And handle it, So it's this thing that I had collected over 50 years, or maybe less, 40, at least 40. And it's like sending your kids and your grandkids off to college, and
Yeah.
it's cool because you can go see them, where they are.
Yeah.
So it was like kind of that thing, So, but it's worked out perfectly. I mean, it's the goodwill that it has caused in the community, or anybody that comes and sees it.
That's educated people too,
Yeah.
There's nothing like it.
Oh, the new art that you're finding today, is it also going in there, or are you taking that home with you for a while?
Half and half, kind of some things I buy for the museum,
Yeah.
And then sometimes I just keep it because I have an estate, that pass on to my kids or my grandkids. And
How many pieces went into the museum?
about 560
Wow.
Where did you keep that before?
under my bed. No,
Tucked away.
It's a
I got one
big
of those
bed.
high poster beds.
Yeah.
Just under the bed.
You needed a ladder to get up
Yeah.
there.
There's a nice blanket over it.
You know,
Who needs wallpaper?
Yeah. No, you don't. I mean, as you know, some things I kept in the house. You know, I had a couple houses at the time, and but it's storage.
Yeah, storage.
But I really early in the collecting process, I got onto how am I going to do this, and I met people in the industry and museum people. You got to have a show. You got to show this stuff. It was, well, how do you do them? That whole process of learning how to do a show
Yeah.
and mount it, and what it comes down to is you have to get sponsorship.
Right.
So
Pay for the displays and the promotion and
You know,
marketing
we-
of it, and all the rest.
transportation of art is a very expensive
Yeah.
proposition, you know. And so, anyways, you have to. And so, I did this little dog and pony show for like, I don't know, a lot of years. To every corporate boardroom in America, you know, General Mills, General Motors, anything that had General in it. I thought, you know,
Every general.
they got money. They're General.
general insurance.
General insurance.
The
was there,
general.
too.
and so finally, the Target stores stepped up, and they sponsored a tour called Chicano Visions, and went on for 7 years.
Target, huh?
Shout out to Target.
Yeah, shout out to Target.
And because they wanted to reach that market in a hip way,
Yeah.
and they chose the collection, and they thought that was very representative, because I had been doing that with the Art and Embassies program before that, United States Arts and Embassies. They show art all embassies, like wherever they have an embassy in the world, and say. So you can move a lot of different art through there, and so we did that program for a little while. So we kind of,
That's
Oh.
that's
and
awesome.
it's all part of showing it to any community, because that's what it's intended to do. You want
All right.
as many people to see it and get the message, or just stand in front of the art as possible. So
That's awesome that art like that can go on tour.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
and it can be
so-
appreciated by so many, like that would never have, seen it beforehand. And now there's a living place for it.
Yeah, that it would. It was kind of like we're getting off the road.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a what do they call those?
Residency.
Yeah, residency. Yeah, residency. But forever here, we're going to die here. So, but you want to keep it vibrant. But it's
Yeah.
a cultural center as well, and so we starting to develop other parts of the culture, music, film, and we're in the process of doing that too. So,
Awesome.
Where did the love of art come from? When did it start for you?
oh, well, we both went to Catholic school, and so and when you're in mass and look up the church that I went to in South Central, look up in the ceiling, and it has, what are these guys in sheets walking around the clouds, and there's clouds. Why are they
Yeah.
barbecuing that guy in the corner? So it was really intriguing for me right at the beginning. What is this? Oh, that's art. It's kind of cool and scary at the same time. So that was intriguing. And then had this group of cousins. There was 4 of us, and we were like, Catholic educated and liberal arts, and the head cousin Louis, who was this brilliant guy, was just really brilliant. And he decided that he was gonna assign us topics, each one of us, to learn about and bring back to the group. And I got assigned art. And so, like, how do you do that? You go to the library. So on Saturdays I would go to the library, and they would take out the art books and bring them to him. And, oh, okay, that's Picasso. That's cool. I've heard that name before. And go through learn about Western art that way.
Oh.
And so that was always something I did. And then when I got money and I could buy art, it kind of coincided with the time that Chicanos were starting to emerge as a school of painting. Like,
You knew what to look for, and you knew what you wanted.
I knew exactly what it was when it came out. And I knew, because they were all either art school and or university trained artists. They weren't,
Right.
backyard hobbyists, backyard.
Yeah.
They were, they were in the industry. They were trying to get in and be that, so.
That was their career choice. That's
Yeah,
what they wanted
exactly.
to be, like an artist, not part-time, but full-time.
Yeah, and it's a commitment. Yeah,
It is.
Yeah, you think it's hard making your living being a broke actor. Try to being a broke artist or a painter,
Oh,
man.
man.
Definitely worse for them.
It's-
Like,
I mean,
Yeah.
isn't it true that, like, at least for the old school artists, what we would consider old school, a lot of them started broke.
Oh yeah.
You know that they were all starving pretty much until and even in their throughout their career, they might not have made a lot of money till they died. Then their art made a lot of money.
That's the majority of them, by the way.
At one time they were studying Baroque, and then they were Baroque.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's crazy how it happens, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because before that, until you're noticed or anything, it's just picture on paper. Once you start selling, before that, though, you're...
I mean, it's art before that, but
No, I'm sorry. When I meant like monetization,
right?
Meaning before that, it's just really your art on the paper until people are buying it. Then before that,
then the value
you're
pops
starving.
Yeah. Art as a commodity is a whole different deal. Art is a reflection of culture. Very rarely gets enshrined in its own place. So it's a recognition because. Having a museum dedicated to that, it establishes it in the vocabulary of art, in the timeline of art that we talk about now, and that's been recognized. And so, you keep it going and see, you can see a whole timeline of the collection, and it comes from the very beginning of it to the present day.
Yeah.
So you want to kind of keep and then keep it going, but other programs you start within the museum. So,
did you ever try to do art yourself, or you always just appreciated it?
I suck at it so bad. I mean, I could do like a stick guy, and that's it. A pyramid. I could do that one. No, but I appreciate it. I know what it is when I see it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, what is it that you look for? Like, what catches your eye when you see an art piece?
everything at once.
Dope.
Everything at once on everything I've learned. And how that piece relates to everything I learned, and what is going on right now, and something that's new, some rhythm that's going through there that's new that I've never. Oh, it's kind of it's nice how they join those things together, But intuitively, you know it when you see it. You can intellectually figure it out later, but it's like you hear that good beat on a canvas.
Yeah. What's your favorite exhibit that you come across or museum with art? Because I would imagine you've done the tour of all of
There's
them.
a lot of them, man. I go to museums wherever I go.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've always done that. It's just since I was a little kid.
The one in Amsterdam, the Rembrandts are pretty crazy. Like him, the depiction of the Navy and sea, fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's.
Did you go check out the Basquiat here in downtown? The Basquiat had like an exhibit.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Who's showing it?
His family. Yeah. They recreated his bedroom and art studio, and it's like they even had the Andy Warhol commissioned portraits of his family.
Oh, really?
And it's really dope.
And it's like a pop-up Basquiat show?
No, it's there. It's been there for probably, I'd say, 3 or 4 months.
Yeah?
Oh, it's still there?
It's still there.
See, I thought it was a pop-up. I thought it was just,
It stayed there.
That's cool.
And as well as the Luna that I went to.
He was a cool artist, man.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet him?
No, I never did. I think, but Tommy Chong's daughter, Robbie, who was a big model, and she was living in New York, and he used to crash at her place. Him and call them the Stinky Boys, man, because they had no permanent residence, and floated around to the different couches. He was in that mix.
I tripped out because in that exhibit they talked about how he spent a lot of time here on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Like, and they showed a lot in Venice and near Santa Monica. You know what I mean? And, he had a studio out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool pictures like him and Andy Warhol back in New York City. There's a lot of cool old shots that pop up on one of these sites that I follow. But a lot of the time, the two of them are together.
Yeah. They did a bunch of pieces together for a series, and it was.
The more you see your stuff, the more you like it because you understand that rhythm.
Yeah.
Oh, why is that? When you first see it, but here's how it goes.
Yeah.
And paintings have to be appreciated in person. And that's the only way to really get them because a lot of it has to do with the texture of the paint, and it doesn't photograph that well sometimes.
The way it pops off the canvas, you can't always catch it in like a good light, no matter how you might light it up. You have to actually
or how large it is, or small it is. That's when what's the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam. We were doing a movie there, and so I used to go to those museums, Dutch museums, all the time. And there's a famous painting, Rembrandt painting called The Night Watch, and it's like, it looks like a cigar box top. You know, they co-opted that for cigars, but that's what's one of the, and it's a painting. I've seen it in reproduction a zillion times, and blah blah blah. But so you go in, you see it in person, and it's a fucking mural. I mean, it's fucking huge, man. Like, and I went into the room like, God, this is really transformative. And then I got out of there, and it was Vermeer. So Johannes Vermeer, I don't know if you know him, but he was that Dutch painter too. And I had the same experience of seeing his paintings in books. That's it. And to see them in person, and they're tiny. They're almost as big as the thing in the book, and like, wow, but they're. And it doesn't matter. It's what's inside the canvas, inside the frame that counts. So, okay. It was all kind of building toward my knowledge of how to do a show to go on the road of my own.
Right.
Yeah.
It's an education.
Art is definitely like one of those things I think for people, like you really got to look until you find something you like. Like, because especially when I was younger, going in New York, you had like MoMA, Museum of Modern Art. And a lot of them, I'm going to be honest, like this is the way you hear me, like I wasn't a fan of certain things that I felt like I didn't see how that was art. You know what I mean?
Right.
But then I'll see certain paintings, especially like these days, I like a lot of like the realism that some of these people are doing and the emotion that they can show in a pencil drawing or something. Like, I think it's absolutely amazing. But, you know, like everyone always say, oh, Cali hates art, I hate art. No, absolutely not. I love art. But what you might think is great art might not do it for me, and same vice versa.
Yeah, it's subjective.
But you got to find what's good for you. So definitely do like what Cheech does, and just hit a bunch of different museums, because you'll find something that like, wait, that hit me. Like
great art takes time to reveal itself. You have to kind of live around it or see it a bunch of times. And it's anybody can understand the language because it doesn't have a specific language. It's what it communicates to you. Yeah. That's the important
how you appreciate it. I remember like our first trip to the Louvre in France. That blew my mind, because when you think about it, you see how old that art is and what they had to use to create it, and how like detailed some of
they
that
had to conquer countries to create it.
Steal it.
The winner gets to like take the picture. That's like today the winners, digital Instagram shot, we're the winners. That was their way of paint me the victor, you know what I mean? But it's incredible how much detail those guys had with what they had to work with.
Correct.
Yeah, man.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So, some museums are vast and some museums are small, and we lucked out with the Cheech. You don't get museum fatigue in it. You can see it in one pass, because the other bigger museums like basta, halfway through, and I've been in some of the biggest museums, but this one is nice. Yeah. And it's a beautiful building, and the town is. Anybody been to Riverside?
I lived there, and I was going to tell people, by the way, it's not just, and I'm not taking away from that becoming like the new up-and-coming arts district for people who don't know. Riverside in 5 or 10 years, mark my words, will be one of the most popping art scenes that you've seen. It is blowing up. Like, they're taking that downtown area and investing in like things like that, bringing in a lot of cultured art, and it's really, they're doing a great job.
Riverside is an interesting town.
Yeah.
It's growing.
Yeah.
It's a real historic California town that was, in 1880, the richest per capita city in the United States because of citrus.
Right.
Wow.
They grew valleys and valleys of oranges and lemons and tangelos and whatever. And they built a railroad into the groves with packing houses along the way. And they shipped oranges everywhere. So that's how you could get an orange on Christmas morning in London, England, because of Riverside, California. Became very rich and a small population. And so they commissioned all these, they did a lot with their money. They commissioned all these buildings that, this building was the last of the ones that they commissioned, the ones come in. So it's interesting.
Riverside's investing in itself.
And the
And
Mission
it's-
Inn,
yeah,
too.
and-
The Mission
and
Inn to go see.
We're right next door to the Mission Inn.
exactly.
That's
The
Mission,
what
that's
it is.
beautiful.
It is
spot.
amazing, and
Spot.
it looks like doesn't belong here. It's so old and like it's like the storybook looking. Like it's really amazing.
It's like what's the guy from Spain, Spanish guy? I'm at the age. Barcelona.
Is it Gaudi?
Gaudi. There you go. Very good.
Job.
His story.
Be real for 50 points.
Ding, ding, ding.
Hey, the crazy story about him, right, is that he was they commissioned him to design this church, right? And the church is trippy, right? When you see it, it's like on some gothic shit for real, right? And I guess he was admiring his work or like trying to figure out where they were like, where they had to finish, and he wasn't paying attention, and he got hit by a streetcar.
Whoa.
Wow.
Never finished the church.
Ah.
But a lot of it got done. I think
I think it's done now.
yeah,
now.
did his son take it over for a time, or someone took it over for a time? But it's finally done.
Yeah, but then the Spanish government took it over for
Yeah.
a time, or the Barcelona. But that's
It's a
La
crazy
Sagrada
looking church.
Familia, sacred family,
Yeah,
the Holy Family.
he liked geckos. All
Yeah.
over Spain, you'll see these crazy geckos, and they're all based off of the geckos he created. You don't remember that, Bobo?
I do not remember.
You do
that
not?
part. I do not.
Or do you need a donut?
How
No,
about that
donut
too?
were great.
They always work mid-show. Ooh, donut.
Yeah.
Oh my
That
God.
sugar right now, would be a nice pickup. Yeah.
I'm surprised you don't remember that. You got like a pretty huge storage in that memory of yours, son.
Thank you.
So I'm not- it is a compliment. I
but
want you
yeah.
to know that,
I
Mr.
just found
Cathedral.
out today at the thing that he comes from a great jazz legacy. I was a big fan of his father's Willie Bobo.
Yeah.
Man, Spanish Grease was one of my favorite albums in college.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very
Thank
much.
you, man.
Oh yeah.
Very cool.
Hey, did you guys ever get asked to do like laugh in and things like shows like that?
We weren't Cheech and Chong by.
Oh, not yet.
They were, not yet.
Oh, that was slightly before.
We were a gleam in the eye.
They went for 6 seasons or something like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
from 68 to 70 something.
Yeah,
Because that show was a trip. Did you
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
that was major TV.
All the like biggest names were on this fucking show.
Yeah, they do little cameos, pop-ins.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the cast was good.
It was like a variety show,
Yeah.
right? Like that was what you would call a variety
It's
show
like
back then.
Saturday Night Live, but more random, I
Right.
would say.
Yeah, but it was more. They had hosts, more Rowan and Martin
Yeah.
were the
Yeah.
hosts, and they kind of guided you. And they were an act by themselves.
Yeah.
So
Where did the love for comedy come from? Where did that idea to just start doing that?
I was in a very funny family. Everybody in my family was funny and witty, and quick. And so, if you want any space at the dinner table, man, you had to have, a tight 3 minutes, to launch in your story, man. But that was what, and that's what that evolved into, is that Louis created this group, my cousin, and they were bright kids, all of us, so. And I was the youngest. I think I was the youngest. I was the little puppy dog trying to catch up with all these guys. Ray Jean, one of the cousins, went to Harvard and became the first holder of a doctorate in Chicano studies from Harvard. Another cousin became a nun. Louis didn't. He went back into the Air Force and went to the University of Tokyo. And I was the little guy trying to catch up with these guys. So, yeah. So, but the art thing turned out. But and they were all funny. All of them were very funny, witty, kind of. They could have. But
And then meeting up with Chong, that's kind of like when you put the duo thing together to go
yeah,
comedy.
You guys connected at a club he had, right?
yeah. Tommy was a musician all his life, and he R&B guitarist, and he was in this group called Bobby Taylor and the Vancouvers. That was his group. He founded the group, but they were the first integrated group in Motown, and signed by Berry Gordy, and
Whoa.
Wow.
and they had this big hit song called "Does Your Mama Know About Me?" Does your mama know about me? Bobby Taylor had this great voice, and Tommy wrote the song. And so everybody covered it. Diana Ross and Jermaine Jackson, Stephanie Mills,
That was
the
one of them
Harlettes.
songs. Yeah.
You know who the Harlettes were?
Yeah.
And the Harlettes, okay, was a Swedish girl. I can't remember, Inga something or other. Linda Hart, who was my love interest in Tin Cup. Anybody see Tin Cup?
Yeah.
The girl, she owned the bar, and from Married with Children,
Katie Seagal.
Katie Seagal. Those were the Harlettes.
Really? Yeah.
Whoa.
She sings. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And and they recorded "Does Your Mama Know About You?" So
Wow.
it was a big, like I said, you did it in your club act if you were an R&B group,
That's awesome.
Wow.
So he did. So he was with Motown, and so, long story short, he wasn't with Motown anymore, and he came back to Vancouver. And at that time, I was living in Canada, and I lived in Calgary and then Banff, and then made my way to Vancouver, and one thing led to another, and I got introduced to him by a friend, and he was running this improvisational theater in a topless bar in Chinatown in Vancouver.
That sounds like the place to be.
It was about as much fun as a young man could have in Vancouver in the
Understood.
70s. It was unbelievable. And so I had seen improv theater before, and so had Tommy on the road with the Vancouvers, and he always Tommy always told me wild stories, when I first met him. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. I thought it was bullshit. But he said that he and Bobby Taylor discovered the Jackson 5. Told me from almost the first time I met him. Okay, but he was with Motown, so kind of it could possibly happen. So when we finally got to L.A., Lou Adler had this club. Our producer had this club called On the Rocks, or the Roxy, and then On the Rocks was up.
Upstairs.
So we go upstairs, and there's Michael Jackson sitting there, and I ran right up to him and said, "Hey, Michael, did Tommy and Chong in?" He goes, "Oh yeah, we used to live at their house and everything." Like,
Oh my God.
no shit.
That blew your mind.
Blew
That
my mind,
just
yeah.
blew my fucking
Yeah.
mind.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
history no one knows there.
Yeah, and Bobby Taylor produced their first 2 albums. I Want You Back, ABC, all that shit.
All the
Yeah.
all the early
Wow.
hits.
Wow.
And so it was, they was, and so we were doing this improv theater in this topless. It was in Chinatown. That was the key. And it was a tough area.
Tough room too.
Tough crowd, yeah, tough crowd.
No, tough
Oh,
area. The
Yeah.
blocks surrounding this. It was a tough area. It was the Skid Row of
Tough areas. People like to laugh, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you make them laugh.
they
You
do,
got
yeah.
They
someone
like
watching
to see
your back.
naked girls even more than
That they
That
do.
is
There you go.
That part.
That's a fact.
Titties and laughter.
Strip
But-
club or titty bar, they're going to the
It was,
titty
and
bar.
it was Vancouver's first strip club, topless bar, and so when he came off the road, he wanted to do improv theater now, and he was always a musician, never spoke on stage, but he kind of, that's what he wanted to do. So he formed this little group with his friends, his other friend, and the girls kept the topless element. And so he brought in the girls. He said, "Okay, you're not. We're changing the format, and you're not topless dancers anymore. You're actresses." They go, "Oh, cool." He said, "Well, you get paid less for being actresses."
All
Not
right.
generating the money anymore.
but you still have to do the same gig. You get the topless, and then they had all kinds of his other buddy did stuff, and they had a mime artist And this is a topless bar that
Yeah.
with
man.
bikers and hockey players and guys that just came out of the bush and and they, even when the topless girls, they never looked up. And there was prostitutes were in the bar. Anyways, so Tommy introduces this this improv theater element into the club without telling anybody. Okay, now we're changing the format. And the guys are drinking, and out comes the mime artist.
Oh man. How did that go over? How did the mime go over?
Like that.
Somehow they didn't kill the mime. And then he started, but pretty soon he introduced the girls back in. The music came on, and they did some little skit that ended with them getting naked.
Right. Sounds like brilliant marketing there.
And slowly this thing evolved, and they didn't get killed, in the interim while it was gestating, I guess, building. And I came into it, and it was like,
it was an open mic night, right?
No.
Or it was straight improv.
Yeah, straight up. We owned the build, and we owned the club.
Right.
Tommy's family owned the club, so we didn't do whatever the fuck we wanted.
Right.
Nice.
And so we were, to get a chance to do that.
What was your first night like?
Well, I went seeing them the first time, man. It was like, because I saw myself as I was this great improv writer from improv theater down in LA, which was that was the improv, right there. So he bought it. And so I better write some shit, and so I went to see the show, and it was kind of like I didn't know what to make of it, because it was this: are they trying to do a comedy, or is this topless dancing, or what the fuck?
Mimes?
Was it
With a mime and
like
these guys,
variety show tip, like kind of like that?
No, it's straight out topless dancing. And then he would play. Tommy would play. He was a guitarist, so he'd play, and we had a little rhythm section thing to keep him going. And the drunks are now starting to get used to it. So they
start laughing.
Yeah, no, they start laughing at certain jokes and so. Right. And so, but they did this one thing that cracked me up and said, "Okay, I'll join the group." And so then I joined, and I started writing little skits, and I did skits that I did one for the mime.
Should have a topless mime.
You did one for the mime.
To be a mime.
How do you write for the mime? That's good.
I did a mime. I wrote a mime bit for him. He was an astronaut in a rocket ship.
You did that bit, right?
And then I took it over because I had written it. So, anyways, we did that for like 9 months, and then the group kind of broke up, and the one guy wanted to go to the woods to get his head together and whatever, and it broke up. And it was just me and Tommy, so we figured out, hey, we'll form a group of we maybe could play Vegas. You're a singer, I was a singer all my life, and he's a guitar player. We'll form a band, and we'll do some skits, and then we can play Vegas. Sounds good. Let's go for that. And so our only gig, we put a band together, rehearsed it. On our first and only gig with the band, it was at the Gardens Auditorium in Vancouver. It was a battle of the bands, and Tommy knew had a lot of connections.
Is that where the idea came from in the movie?
It was really, it was a battle of the bands.
That's great.
And the Gardens, and then we came out and we thought, hey, we'll start off with a skit and blah, 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 and then go into the tunes. The band's up there; they're up ready to play. We do this one skit, and you could see people in the auditorium starting to, what the is going on stage, and coming towards the stage, because you had to get, and so you see them streaming in, and the longer we went into this bit, the more people that came in, and they got interested, and so we finished this bit and went into another bit. Oh, hey, this is good, because they would never have come to see us in the club.
Yeah, no,
none of these,
not
these
yet.
rock and rollers and that they didn't.
Not yet.
No, they were white rock, kind of. And so they would have never discovered us. So in the end, we ended up winning the battle of the bands.
Oh, yeah.
And we didn't play a note. We walked off. Yeah. They never used the band. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man,
that's crazy.
Battle of the Bands.
The battle of the bands.
Yeah, that was
now we know where it came from.
Definitely.
Is that where Alice Bowie was born?
Yeah, probably. No, no, that was born later. That was when actually we were doing records.
Ah, so it was
Dude.
born for that.
Yeah.
How did you both like? How did those routines like Sister Mary Elephant? How were they written? Was that based off like real life or just completely like you guys went in on a?
It was that particular one. It was experience. I went to Catholic school, had nuns, you know, and the elephant jokes were going around at the time. I don't know what's big and gray and
Jokes were trending like that.
Yeah, it was a trend for elephant jokes. And you'd hear them a lot, you know. So it comes from experience too of going to Catholic school, and we recorded our first album in a mix down room, in a little tiny mix down room at A&M. That was our studio. Put 2 mics in front of the console, and that was it. And so you want to do funny stuff or you get bored after a while in the recording process, you know. Kind of. And so I had an engineer on the other side, and so we wanted to fuck with him. So I would yell into the mic, and he's like right there, and it's like it's the only one wearing headphones. Oh, sorry, Mike, we've done that. Okay, and then we talk, but that's how that bit was born, you know, how to fuck with Norm.
It's amazing.
I heard that there's a story on how you met Lou Adler when you guys met for the first time. His son Nick told us, and I don't know how true this is, but you know, when he was coming into the office to meet you, you guys like were doing the dog bit.
Oh, he might have. He saw us at the Troubadour.
That's where he first saw y'all?
Yeah. It was on like open a mic night. It was what do they call it? Hoot night.
Yeah.
In those days, because hootenannies and folk singers. That was another thing that it was on Monday, and the first 6 acts that were lined up at the box office at 6 o'clock when it opened got to go on that night in reverse order. So the first one there got to go on in the sixth spot, which was a good spot because everybody's in. Right, they've ordered drinks and blah blah. So
they've settled in.
We were always had the number 6 spot always, because we'd get there at 9 o'clock in the morning and sit there and, you know, write bits or eat sunflower seeds or bring a guitar and play, and then people would start lining up during the day, and we went on. So we started, and we do that all the time. We started gathering a following there at the Troubadour, but during that was our white club, but we played mostly black clubs, because Tommy knew the clubs from the day when he was with Motown. He'd come through L.A., and I grew up in that neighborhood, and so we'd play all the black clubs in L.A., and we both knew them. So and it was a cool audience for us, you know, because we knew the music, we knew the experience of being there, and we had weed, which everybody understood.
They love it, yeah.
Yeah, and so
weed.
Eventually, we ended up at this club called PJ's in Hollywood, and it was a very famous club. Everybody, Trini Lopez and Johnny Rivers and
PJ's.
Wow. Not like Beastie Boys live from PJ's. Was that real?
Yeah.
Because that's what they were saying, live from PJ's. I'm like, maybe
that was probably in its last days.
And then the metal guys, the Van Halen,
Right.
Yeah. And so eventually, this guy, I think he had 34 pizza shops or something. And he bought it.
Making dough.
And he was, I don't know what he wanted to, but it turned it into the Uptown Black Club in Hollywood, PJ's. And we were and he had seen us someplace, and he liked us, me and Tommy. And so we were the house comedians for PJ's for every act that came through there.
Wow.
And so we played with.
You got to see everybody.
Edwin Starr, the Little Anthony Imperials, the Whispers,
legendary.
Wow. The Isley Brothers.
Woo!
The Isley we got one night Marvin Gaye got up on stage with the Isley Brothers and sang "What's Going On" right when it was going on.
man.
God damn.
I mean, it's like I've seen crowds go oop shooby before.
Imagine someone releases video of that.
God, man.
Yeah.
I never knew that. Yeah.
That's some legendary shit right there.
You know, in that age, I would imagine a lot of artists were doing stuff like that. We just ain't privy to it because no one could
recorded.
film back then.
Yeah.
You know? There was no devices.
Well, it happened spontaneously.
Right.
He knew the Isley Brothers. They knew, you know.
He showed up. Boom. Hey, let me get on with y'all.
Yeah.
Has there ever been like, because there's many fans of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Many different types of stoners and even people that don't get stoned. They just appreciate the comedy aspect of it. There ever been like a fan that you come across that you were surprised were a fan of you guys?
I met Barack Obama in Chicago when he was Senator Barack Obama, and it was at a fundraiser for the Mexican Museum there, and I was introduced to him by the guy that's putting on the event, and I said, and nobody knew who he was,
Right.
but he had just given that speech,
big speech,
at the Democratic Convention, and he comes and says, "Hi, my name's Cheech Marin," and he says, "I know who you are." I was raised in Hawaii. I was a surfer.
Yeah. Of course.
Oh, okay. So, thank you very much, man. Hey, we're good. So, and I went up and Googled him. I don't. Because they're gonna have to learn this guy's name now, man. Because he's gonna be somebody. Barack Obama.
He was basically telling you he smoked weed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And I understood the code.
Maui,
Yeah, that's the
Wowie.
code.
Yep.
Whenever someone comes to Cheech and Chong, say, "Hey, I'm a huge fan." They're a weed smoker 9 times out
I
of
was
10.
surprised that William of English,
Prince Will or
Prince
now
William
gonna be king soon,
Yeah.
William.
Wow.
could be, yeah.
Yeah.
So me and Don Johnson were doing a golf tournament in Scotland in St. Andrews.
I think both them guys smoked weed, Harry and William.
Well, I'm sure, yeah.
Harry definitely.
Harry definitely.
Definitely.
I heard he was a Cypress fan too. You know,
Wouldn't doubt it.
I
He's a
don't know
rebel.
that for a fact, but I've heard that, and I would imagine they know who Cheech and Chong
Yeah.
is. It's like, yeah, they were weed heads for a time. Maybe not now, William, but
But maybe their kids are.
maybe soon to be.
Yo,
That would be starting very early.
back in the day, did you have a favorite like strain that you would smoke back in the day? I mean, they didn't have as many names as they do now.
I like
But you-
free weed.
There you go.
That strain called
Free weed is that's a
Free
good
weed.
strain.
in the day, you know, it was just weird. It came from Mexico, and, you know,
Right.
You had basically chocolate Thai, Maui Wowie.
I heard,
things like
Panama
that.
Red.
Yeah, Panama Red. Didn't
Yeah.
have much.
You know, a Thai stick.
It was just weed.
Yeah.
It was just,
Weed.
no, there was had a lot, then they started learning how to really grow it specifically, you know. So that
So you had the
Memories,
shoebox, of course.
you know,
Did you do it like that?
nah,
Rolling
I-
the seeds down
I
the
just-
shoebox.
You know that was a technique.
It was. And they
My
rolled
dad
down.
did it all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how you DC.
Oh,
It.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
tilt
yeah.
it. Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
bro.
it's the tilt. Yeah.
Yep, the tilt.
You know, the tilt, shoebox lid.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
before cultivators like really knew what to do.
Oh yeah, they didn't. Like it was.
There wasn't that care and feeding
In
going on.
Amsterdam?
That's
In Amsterdam, they knew. You know, they've had it within their culture and society for so many years. They were so far ahead of everybody.
mm-hmm.
You know, everybody down here was learning about it, trying
Yeah.
to get it right. Now it's one of the most, you know, some of the best cannabis in the world comes out of California now. I believe.
Supposedly.
has for forever.
Supposedly, what do you
No,
mean?
supposedly, did you see that the Narco series where they were showing the guy who supposedly created the Sesame City?
Oh yeah, yeah.
He was it was a Mexican dude who's
Yeah, and from-
supposedly.
They were growing or cultivating in Guadalajara.
There you go, and that's where it's supposedly the original.
First non-seed
Correct.
carrying
Exactly. It was
cannabis
down in Mexico.
was from Dude.
Correct.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I grew a strain of it one time, no, twice, but I didn't even grow it. Jan Michael Vincent, he was an actor.
I remember Jan Michael
Yeah,
Vincent.
Michael
There-
Vincent, OG.
Yeah,
he-
Defiant.
So he was my buddy, and we hung out. He lived in my area in Malibu out there, and he comes over one day, and he says, and he's carrying these 2 plants. He says, "Hey man, I'm going about 100 of these back canyon here." Oh, okay, and he says, "Well, I was about to go on tour." I said, "Hey, where do you want them?" I just put them over there by and he's just leaving now. And the next day, I left for tour, and the next day he gets busted because the helicopter sheriffs did a flyover and found his little field there of 100 plants, and they busted him. So these are the only 2 plants that survived, and so I came back off a tour, and they had grown through the bottom of the pot that they were in,
The roof.
and they were like, at least 5-6 feet tall right now, and robust.
They were kicking ass.
Whoa, they had shoulders on them, man. And I just said, "Well, so my gardener asked the guy who was my gardener, well, what should I do?" And so he says, "Well, just water them like you've been watering them and everything." And I did nothing to them,
Right.
and they grew colas. Like we were donkey tails, man. I mean, it was,
That Jan Michael
so
Vincent.
sometimes you get
strain.
volunteers, man. They just want to. They want to make somebody happy.
They got to bring that Jan Michael Vincent back.
And it was
That
good,
should
but
be
it
a
was,
street.
but it was, and it was going. I was living on the beach, and we call it Seaside Sensimilla.
Seaside. All right.
Yeah, and it was good weed too, man.
Another name could be Airwolf for it.
Oh, I love
Airwolf.
Airwolf.
It was-
Hell yeah.
He wanted to be animated after a while. Airwolf Jan.
You want to be running
So
around
you could
and
just
shit.
do the voice.
Oh, that's badass. I mean, it could be now. That would be.
I mean, now that would be
Yes.
money.
yeah.
Are you kidding me? Shoot. Let me ask you this: are there any like young comedians right now that you find hilarious?
Right now, I don't really follow the comedy scene. I don't.
It's more about the art right now.
Yeah, more about my grandkids.
Yeah, that too.
Nice.
You know,
Man.
like-
Yes.
like in there. But no, I like comedy when I see it.
Yeah. Do you still go to any comedy clubs now and then,
No,
just to not to catch anything?
no.
I mean, you've done enough of it.
I did it for a long time.
Yeah.
You can only hear so many dick jokes.
True that. True that. There's only so many ways you could flip a dick joke.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to ask, back in the days when you were doing the records, like when you guys weren't doing comedy, what were you guys listening to music wise?
Well, for me, I was listening to all the hippie shit. Kind of. I grew up as a singer.
Right.
My first record when I was 5. But I was listening to, all of the Beatles, Stones, Dylan, the Youngbloods, all that. But I had an R&B background. And Tommy came out of R&B and jazz.
Oh yeah.
So that's what more inclined to jazz than it. He was a guitar player. So it was cool working at the PJ's opening. But we had played all the black clubs in town. Mavericks Flats, the Parisian Room.
The Parisian Room, that was on was that on Washington and La Brea?
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad used to play that a lot.
Yeah.
And Ronaldo Ray.
Ronaldo Ray, yeah.
He would do comedy there.
Not doing wasting a $50 high under a 50-cent light bulb.
Ronaldo Ray, he was the one who played DJ Pooh's dad in was it Friday?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
Ronaldo
Why you come over
Ray.
here messing with these people?
Oh yeah.
Ronaldo Ray.
He's hilarious.
You want some of this old man? He's on no.
Yeah, we used to play the Parisian Room all the time, man.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's right.
All those clubs. And Mavericks Flats. And Tommy had come through and played that club with Bobby Ted and Vancouver's as a musician. And now it was strictly a dance club, and we kind of, the owner knew him from then, so he let us do our show there. And it caught on. It was good.
Oh yeah.
But I knew all those clubs.
Yeah. I wonder what they're called these days, because
Parking lots.
some of them are parking lots right
Yeah,
now.
man.
Parisian Room is now a post office.
It's a post office.
No way.
Yeah.
They kept the P.
Yeah, they did.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
It's been peed on many times. You know what I'm saying?
That was a cool period in the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s in LA. Especially for Chicanos, because they were really en masse starting to discover Hollywood more and more, coming in. They're part of the music scene
Yeah.
in different bands. Redbone, you know, band Redbone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pat
Yeah.
Lolly Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
Did you guys ever go to like any of the Laurel Canyon parties or get-togethers where people were doing music?
Yeah. That was more our crowd because we were coming up through the Troubadour.
Right.
So we knew all those guys,
All the
Linda
musicians.
Ronstadt and J.D. Souther and Fry and all those, Jackson Brown, and
oh yeah.
so
All the songwriters.
Man.
well, that was the era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, good weed.
That's when good weed started to appear. Yeah, exactly.
Right around that time.
But it was the same time the cocaine started to appear too.
I was
man.
just
Oh,
going to
yeah.
ask, what year, as actors or musicians, did cocaine become something that was accessible? And then you see, how early did you say you saw first or seen someone doing coke?
Well, in the early 70s.
Early 70s, yeah, because I was, so we were just listening to Curtis Mayfield on the way over, and I was like, this song was 1972, and he's like, I got some coke, got some weed. I'm like, I didn't realize coke was even there.
Oh, yeah.
And then my father had told me, even back before that, but you had to be a musician,
to have
somebody
the
of
money.
status, and
Yeah, or have money, yeah.
the
Had that
money
money.
or the access. It wasn't regularly available at that
Yeah.
time.
We made ourselves allergic to coke right away
Good,
because it fucked up our act.
good, yeah.
And
Oh,
we
yeah.
come off arguing. Well, I say, and we had been doing some blowing. Okay, we're allergic to this, right?
Good.
Right.
That's-
And we didn't do it.
Good.
That was
We're
great
just
to
like-
recognize
Because it
that.
would ruin comedy the way it
Oh,
makes
man,
you feel.
you know.
You can't.
Yeah.
be
People get
funny.
mad at each other on coke.
Yeah.
I did.
I said, not on weed.
Not on weed.
They get mad
Yeah.
at themselves on coke.
Yeah.
How about mushrooms? Did you guys ever do
It
do
was
any
it was
bits?
available in some.
More LSD.
How
right?
did that fuck up the show, or did that take it to another level?
Tommy was never in that. But it was more in our Vancouver days. It was
right.
like psilocybin. that's
Right.
what they
Yeah,
had
yeah.
there,
Mhm.
We used to do a lot. But it wasn't. The drugs weren't a big thing. That we would, but because we were concentrated on the show,
On the
and
bits,
doing
yeah.
the show,
Oh,
how
yeah.
to make that, and if anything, it was it was music.
Well, I know you liked acid. I watched you eat the most acid anybody's ever eaten, man, at one time.
That's one of the
No.
classic scenes,
It
right?
sure was,
No.
man.
But I'll tell you what, one of the other classic scenes is with the strawberry.
Oh God, yeah,
Strawberry.
you kidding? Don't look at his neck.
I'm not gonna look at his neck,
Nah, I
man.
didn't say nothing about his neck, man.
You guys had to be dying. Like
that
some,
shit
some,
was
of, some of that
hilarious.
stuff, you had to be dying laughing.
It
Oh,
never gets old.
Nope.
That was your Tommy.
Sniffing Ajax.
Oh. Yeah. Oh my God.
That shit was it's timeless.
Yeah.
Always can go back.
Because it's always funny. There's
When he's riding the bike and he starts
And then
hearing
he
all the
jumps
horror
Always have the
sounds.
flashbacks.
Yeah,
No.
he starts looking.
no when he has the Vietnam flashback and he jumps
Oh,
Yeah.
when he bells,
Yeah.
that's
he,
the
he
best.
leaves you in the.
I was in that. That's wasn't a stunt, man.
that was for real.
That was you.
I was in that fucking thing, man. I went like, the first time he tipped it up like that. That one in his.
That wasn't AI.
Real deal.
Yeah, that wasn't AI.
Yeah.
And he landed me.
Whoa.
The only one I think they substituted a driver, and is when I was the back shot when I run into the phone booth. At
Yeah.
the end.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was the only time. But I was, nice
Man.
when they tell you before.
Every like a lot of the scenes in that they're all classic moments, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, this would be horrible to do or even think about, but do you think that it would ever be an Up and Smoke remake?
Oh, they better not.
They better not.
An Up and Smoke weed.
Remake.
Oh, remake.
by someone, it's other actors.
Do you know?
They sh-
I don't think they should.
think
but
they should
what do
leave
you,
it.
What do you
Yeah.
think?
We're working on a couple projects right now that have they're Cheech and Chong projects, but they're evolving, but they have to do with our history and our present.
Right, but that's
Right.
not necessarily like you were talking about remaking the
by
movie, correct?
someone else.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
you
no.
guys.
Yeah,
'Cause
not
you
you
guys
guys,
can,
someone
you
else.
know.
That would be
different-
sacrilegious.
Correct.
Yeah.
Of course.
You guys doing projects, we look forward to that and can't wait. But if somebody else decides, oh, we're gonna redo Up in Smoke,
Yeah.
no, you're not.
Nah.
You know, like-
Yeah.
It gained, resonance because of the specificity of the time. It really, we were like right down that zeitgeist, man. We were right on the street, because we came up from the street, and that kind of represented, and we joined a bunch of different audiences together, but still hold them together. We had a big black audience always, large Chicano, and everybody else, every big white audience, big hippie audience, back east, down south, Canada, everywhere we went. We put all these, and it's generational as we went on and kept doing other stuff. Did kids stuff, and every generation kind of had something to, whether they refer, like a guy 35, 36 right now only had seen maybe the Corsican Brothers.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And that's the only Cheech and Chong, and they like that, they saw
And
it
that
as
was
kids.
hilarious too.
They saw it as kids, so that.
Yeah.
But they didn't see all the Up and Smoke and all
Right.
those, the other movies. But
They find it later.
yeah, and the records,
Yeah.
Oh,
the
Best.
record years, man, it was like
Best.
and I'd like to explore that area, that as history, not to be to play those guys.
Did-
but
Did Doc Johnson smoke weed, and did he have good weed?
when I gave it to him, he had great weed.
Okay. I know how you
Right.
feel.
Right on.
There you go.
Yeah, no, we had fun, man. We had fun in doing Nash Bridges.
That was a crazy run you had right there
How
with
long?
that, man.
6 years.
6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
6 seasons is great.
Yes. And but if when you do a show like that, you basically take over a town, and if you got to own a town, San Francisco was the one to own.
Oh, yeah.
In those days,
Man.
it was
Absolutely.
very cool. It was a wonderful town, and we had a great time there.
Did the network ever give you like a you can't smoke weed, like and put that in your contract or?
It's who they were.
As long
Yeah.
as you showed up,
Yeah,
that's all they
Hell
cared
yeah.
about.
we were in San Francisco. We weren't in town where they could look
Yeah.
over our shoulders. That was the great part of it,
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And it's San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean that's the epicenter of
And
back
it's
then.
Cheech doing it.
Hippie Hill.
So they're
Hell
like,
yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah, you're hiring Cheech.
Yeah.
You know
They
what I
know what
mean?
they
You,
get.
you got to know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the excuse we give people too. Like, if we set off a fire alarm in a building or
Oh yeah.
so stuff like this,
You got to know.
you got to know
I'm gonna be smoking.
there's going to be some smoke here. Smoke. I think on our last European tour, or was it Australia when we were with Ice Cube? We set off like 3 fire alarms.
That was
Really?
Oh yeah, yes.
How's Europe for you guys?
It's amazing. It's like it's like doing shows in the 90s, that sort of energy
Mm-hmm.
where it's like that unbridled energy where people are jumping up doing the mosh pit or crowd surfing and stuff like that. The appreciation level is just different. Out here they still do that, but it's got to be like a specific show, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Am I
it's
right
not
in
as
this?
accessible to them. Like you
Yes.
guys go out there maybe once a year. Like here, people get shows all the time,
Yeah.
so they go with all their energy. When
Oh
they
my
go
god,
there.
yeah, it's crazy.
Some
Yeah.
places we don't even hit for like 3 or 4 years.
Right.
So that when we go back, the anticipation and excitement they have
Oh yeah.
is crazy.
It's like when you guys came back, we were so fucking excited to see you guys again. We
Yeah.
went to every show that we could.
Where'd you see us?
It's now. I saw you at the Universal when it was the Gibson.
Yeah.
Now it's Harry Potter World. And then I saw you guys at I believe when you guys did the tune-up show at the Roxy. I think you guys did it there, and then there was one other spot. I can't remember the name of the venue, but yeah, no, come on.
Oh, there was,
Had to go
there
watch
was
you guys.
excitement. There was definitely.
Oh man,
Oh, that's good.
everybody loved it.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
You know,
it-
that's
And just as guys that were influenced by you to see you guys working again, because there was a period, you saw Tommy doing Tommy, you saw you doing you, and staying active.
Yeah.
That was That was the cool thing. But like, you guys got this chemistry that can't be replicated by anyone.
Yeah.
And when you guys get together, it's like fucking magic.
Yeah.
I mean, hearing you guys do the bits that we've all seen, throughout the years growing up, it's still funny when you guys do it right there live. It's like timeless. So, new stuff. We would definitely, anybody that's a Cheech and Chong fan is going to gravitate to see that all
Cool.
day.
But you have to see it like 3 or 4 times in a row to really get the true essence of it. It's in the movie theaters, and we're getting part of that.
Yeah. Get
Yeah,
multiple tickets.
maybe 5, 6 times in a row.
Yeah, sure.
Hey,
multiple
let's-
tickets.
And tell them to do it 5, 6
Yes.
times.
One of my favorites is next movie,
Yeah, me too.
and I love your cousin Red.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had the bag of weed.
That was
Yeah.
fucking brilliant.
Oh, and then the introduction of Pee Wee Herman
Yeah.
of Paul Rubens.
Paul
Well,
Rubin.
he was from the Groundlings.
Yeah.
The thing, and they were all from the Groundlings.
That's
Edie McClurg.
That's an improv spot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's North Hollywood or
No, it's right
Hollywood.
on Melrose.
oh, right
Doesn't
on.
Amy
Oh, right,
Poehler
right.
Yeah,
own it now?
It's right across from the Horseshoe. No, it was the first improv. It was the first Groundlings group and so we discovered them early, and we used to go see them, and then we rated the whole cast for all our movies. Edie McClurg was in it. She was the
Yeah.
mother.
Yeah. Mhm.
And Phil Hartman was in it.
Rest
and
in
then
peace.
Pee Wee, of course, Pee Wee, and who else? Oh, Elvira.
Elvira, yeah.
Elvira.
Cassandra Peterson
That's right.
was in the group, and so we would put them in wherever we had a bit for them to do, But Pee Wee, he was in a couple of them.
Yeah.
Did he just pass away recently?
Yeah.
He did, right?
Yeah.
I thought
Peace.
so.
He was very
Yeah.
quiet about his illness, and
I see a lot of people being that way, and I don't blame them. Like a lot of people just want that end of their life to be private and peaceful and not being bombarded or
Sometimes that can be
pitied
more
or
stressful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
and they don't want people feeling sorry for
the
them.
pity.
Yeah.
Right,
exactly.
right. And they kind of, mess it with them.
Like Chad, what was his name? Chad, the Black Panther.
Yeah,
Chad.
Chadwick
Boseman.
Yeah, that was such a sad story because he was like, again, he did it completely in private. And that was one of the worst violations. Somebody took a picture, like a TMZ of him, and he was sick and he was getting chemotherapy. And they ran a story about
Oh,
how
yeah, he was coming out
how
of
he was
them
on drugs and trying to make this poor guy look like a drug addict when he was literally trying to be with his family and spend the rest of his days peaceful. Like that was really disgusting. Like that was so sad that the media did that to him, and nobody knew he was dying at home.
Some of the media don't got respect.
None. Yeah, that was sad.
All that's gone. All right. Before we do anything else, let's check this out.
Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Ariana from Dr. Greenthumb's LAX. We're located at 5494 West Centinela Avenue. That's just 10 minutes away from the airport. We're going to be here every day from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., so come check us out. Just so you know, for first-time patients, we do 30% off, but we also have daily deals as well as rewards. So you guys be sure to come check us out. Hope to see you guys soon, and back to you guys at the studio.
Thank you. Check out our Greenthumb locations in California. And also this, Motalada is Blaze Mota's ready-to-drink cannabis-infused michelada made with non-alcoholic Mexican lager, tomato, lime, and spices. No mix needed. 20 milligrams of THC per 16-ounce can and 50 milligrams of THC in their new Chichelada. It's Michi time.
Look at that smile.
Let's look at that. Yeah, it seems like you had a couple cans already. Blaze Mota is a line of cannabis products celebrating the proud traditions of Chicano culture that have shaped our great city of Los Angeles. Blaze Mota es hecho en Los Angeles for the world to enjoy. Enjoy it. Word up. And if you don't know, we got, the legendary Richard Cheech Marin up in here hanging. Oh, man.
No. Hello.
It was cool hanging with you at Woody's spot.
Yeah, that was an interesting thing.
Interesting thing, man.
Didn't know if you were in a cage or in a
Yeah. This
The
setup. Yeah, it's like,
practical.
are we the fish in the fish tank?
It was cool. It was exotic and jungly, and
Yeah.
it
It was a cool
That
spot.
was cool.
Yeah. I remember sitting outside filled with rage and fear. There's nowhere for me to sit. And you were in there, and I was just like giving everybody dirty.
Oh my God.
From the outside, I was like so pissed.
Like,
you.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Oh my God, I witnessed it. I watched him pacing, and then when I went outside, he was just walking back and forth. I was like, bro.
Oh, it was so tough.
He was talking under his breath and like, man, it should be in there. God damn it, be in there.
Who was it?
At Woody's.
At
Yeah,
Woody's
yeah, that
spot.
was him at
Exactly.
Woody's that
Yeah,
day.
he wasn't able to sit in because
Exactly.
it was a
No room.
small
Yes,
space.
I was so
It was
upset.
like
Yeah, it was hot in that thing too.
And our
It's getting hot.
one of our other boys, Steph Toad, practically had his head in
Sleepy.
your lap. He was like sleeping while he was
Sleep
laying
tone.
back. He was sitting next to you.
Look at me sleeping over
He's
there.
literally
That could be
laying
me. That
down.
could be me.
Great. He was so comfy.
Blaze.
The second couch of comfort.
Yeah, the couch of comfort. You know,
Yeah.
that happens at any stoner spot.
everybody got pissed off at that
Yeah.
at some point, man.
But salute to Woody Harrelson, man.
Absolutely.
It's a beautiful spot.
I just had finished working with him,
Oh, really? New film?
with Woody.
Oh, nice.
In a movie we did in Winnipeg in the winter.
Oh,
Wolf.
nice.
Ooh,
Old.
it's
What's
fucking
old?
old.
Yeah.
Oh,
Old.
but how about
You
that?
betcha.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, in Fargo, they're in Minnesota with the accent.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Deep.
Great.
Have you watched any of those Fargo?
The series.
the series? No, I
It's
haven't.
amazing.
It's
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
I love that whole concept.
Oh man, they got the accent so fucking down.
Yep.
It's hilarious.
Our own Minnesotan can't even do it that good.
He can.
Yeah, our in-house white guy from Minnesota can't.
Yep.
He can't remember the accent.
Those guys are more north.
Oh, they're more north.
No, you give him a week out there, he'll be talking just like he was.
You
before.
betcha.
No, but he's right, because if you notice in the show, like certain ones of them
Yeah.
don't really do it, and then other ones have it, so you could tell depends where you live.
Some of the
yeah.
accents are thicker. You know, that's why, all across the United States, depending where you live, it's a little bit different the way folks talk.
Oh yeah.
Slang and everything.
Oh, absolutely.
Pronunciation.
Girl from
Pronunciation.
Wisconsin, in Appleton, Wisconsin. So I could do those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, you spent enough time out there, like to do the Vancouver
They're basically
Canadian.
Southern Canadians, all in Northern Canada. I mean,
Yeah.
America, you're right on the border.
Yeah,
so
right on the border.
they all share that accent.
Don't
They,
say
they all
E?
share that.
Oh,
ooh.
yeah.
yeah.
The A.
They're a boot.
Well, you're from Toronto,
like
eh?
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about that?
Down east, eh?
We'll boot that.
How about that?
Oh, boot
you-
that.
Garage. Hey, keep it in the garage.
I love it.
You're the-
Oh, sorry, Bolton.
That's
No,
ugly.
you're good. This
We're
is
so sorry.
hilarious.
Not
Do you know, Cheech, that in Minnesota
Oh,
they play a game called beer darts?
Beer darts.
Yeah, they play a game called beer darts.
How do it go?
So apparently, according to our guy up there, and we've seen video of this, guys sit in a circle, in like lawn chairs or whatever, with their flip flops on, and they put beers around their feet, and they throw darts at the beer cans, and whoever it lands on, if it sticks in the beer, they got to take the beer down. But if they miss the can, and the dart hits the foot, what happens then, Bolton?
Then you're shit out of luck. You got a dart in your foot.
you shit out of luck with
Yeah,
a
that's the
dart
games they
foot.
play.
sounds real.
Well, it's cold out there,
It is cold.
Lawn darts was more
It's
dangerous.
cold,
Lawn darts, people died.
Do you think because the Scottish have that ooh too?
Oh yeah, it's from where those.
The fuck are you talking about?
Boot.
Do you think it's their Scottish line in those parts of the region? Maybe that got that ooh from
It could be
Scottish
yeah.
roots. Maybe.
I don't know.
Don't know.
Was that Bolton and his boys lawn darting?
Yeah, right here.
There we go.
Look at that.
It's wintertime.
Beer
Everyone sits on a
darts.
5-gallon pail.
If you
got
thought-
the beer in front of you.
If you thought we were lying,
Oh, David.
embellishing.
Is that you on the right, Bolton?
I think I'm taking the picture.
Oh, okay.
They all blend into the snow.
Damn.
Oh yeah, maybe after we can go and
Jesus,
have some
dude.
pictures.
I mean,
What are you
Yes,
fucking
right there.
Celtics fans? Everybody had a green.
Oh, that
white
was
shirt?
during St. Patrick's weekend.
That's
right.
The thing is, notice there's snow on the ground, and you got these guys in t-shirts.
That's right. When you live there,
Yeah.
unless it's below
That's
a certain
nothing.
thing, you're
It
good.
doesn't- yeah.
When you were up in Vancouver, did you get used to the winters? It probably doesn't get that cold in Vancouver like it does the rest of
No,
Canada.
it doesn't get it, but it's wet.
Yeah.
And
Rainy, yeah.
all the time. But I loved it.
I-
It could be sunshine. It's a lot like San Francisco.
Yeah.
It could be rainy.
I
And
thought if I ever had to move to Canada, which I don't, but if I did, I'd probably move to Vancouver.
It's one of the prettiest
it's
parts of
very-
British
it's
Columbia.
Beautiful,
Doesn't it
yeah.
get freezing there? It's pretty north. That doesn't get that cold.
no.
Wow.
It gets cold, but not.
It gets cold, but yeah, it
Not,
rains.
Montreal.
not 20 below, not
Yes.
30 below.
It's not Montreal,
Not
or
Montreal.
Toronto cold.
Right.
Right.
That's a different cold.
When I lived in actually I lived in Pritis and then Bragg Creek outside of Calgary. And I was there in the coldest winter in 80 years in Alberta. And it got down to one night, it got down to 70 below zero. On
Oh no, no,
Man.
bro.
That's
I had all the
insane.
thermometers in the little place I was living on the river. And
That's next
So,
level
I
cold.
mean, it was because it was in a week of all 50, 40
Yeah.
below, 50, and then it went up 70 at night. And
See, that's
but I could work outside in 20 below if you dress
If
for
you're
it.
doing something and dressed for it, yeah.
Yeah.
Doing something physical and you're layered up. You
I
could,
didn't like it,
Yeah.
but
what was the work?
I was a potter at the time.
Oh, you were a potter.
Yeah. Was a
Wow.
potter out in the woods, but I had to do a lot of outside work. But
Mm.
where I lived, I had to chop wood every day and go down the river for my water and go down and get some coal for the pot belly to make it go all night. And I was really out there in the boonies, man, right in the provincial park there.
That's fucking cool.
Those
Yeah.
temperatures, like, see, like in New York, we thought we were cold. It get down to like 0.
Yeah.
Then you go to like Chicago or
Yep.
some of these places and it's 20, 30 below. It's like,
Yeah.
and you just said 70. I can't even imagine that type of cold.
I
That
went
is
out
so
once when it was 50, and I couldn't stay out for like.
No.
That wind burns
It's gotta
your
just like
skin.
go through you,
Yeah.
like pierce your body.
Oh, your,
Yeah.
your bones hurt. It literally
Hey,
makes your bones
yes,
hurt.
when the wind goes through the layers,
Yep.
it's it's got you.
Look, 50
Yeah.
degrees is cold enough for me.
Yeah,
50.
Yes,
That's
that's
it.
above
pretty
zero,
cool.
not
50 above.
below, right?
Yeah.
You said last time we sat with you, you said that your father was a police officer,
Uh-huh.
right? How is everything? Well, how did everything go over with them? Like when you guys start really getting like the momentum happening for you guys, did he accept it?
Oh, he loved it all the way, man.
Really?
Yeah, but see, that was his entree to the juvenile delinquents in his patrol, because he was a juvenile delinquent officer
Right.
for a lot of those years. And so he'd go, hey, you kids ever heard of Cheech and Chong? I said, oh, yeah. You want a free album? Hey, so what's going on over here, man? Who's doing what over here? And so it was his communication.
That was a great way to disarm some
Yeah.
young folks. Hey, Cheech and Chong here. Let me give this
Yeah.
from a police officer.
Yeah, from a police officer. But I had two big ranking police officers in my family, Rudy De Leon, my Uncle Rudy.
Right.
Uncle Rudy grew up with him. And the Hollenbeck station is now named after him. It's the Rudy De Leon
Oh wow.
Hollenbeck station. But and in true Chicano fashion, I found out when I was in my 40s that he really wasn't my uncle. He was
It's
just
something we do.
Yeah, exactly.
We're
But he
all
grew up with
cousins.
my father on the
Yeah,
same
so it's
on the same
automatic.
block. Yeah,
Yeah. Theo by association.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I was from Uncle Rudy.
Yeah.
And so, but it was because the first Chicano started coming into the LAPD
Yeah.
because they were coming out of World War II.
Mm.
And they had military training, kind of that deal.
Yeah.
And they were hiring, and he he couldn't advance at the Department of Water and Power because he was
Yeah.
Chicano or Mexican at that time.
When they weren't given so many opportunities at that time.
Yeah, I know. So he went and joined up with the police department, unbeknownst to my mother, and sprung it on her later. But it was a good job for him. It's a tough job, man.
It is a tough job.
You see it from the kid's perspective of how it affects you and how it's a tough job.
How did your mom take the cannabis culture comedy you were doing?
No, I was successful.
She was happy
Yeah,
for it, right?
I wasn't living with her.
Oh, yeah.
No, yeah, sure. No, she was just sweet. Everybody loved her.
Yeah, man.
After I left high school, after I left alimony, she worked there for 30 years at this. She was the first person you saw when you came into the school.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's dope that they supported that. Because like it could have went the other way, you know. You had both parents like,
Oh, yeah.
can't be doing this shit,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You got to go to college and
And you think, especially going to a Catholic high school,
Yeah.
you know, not every parent would be like, yeah, I'm down with that.
Well, they were down with my success more than they thought about
Exactly, the paycheck.
you know, what I was successful about. But it was you know, we did an analysis of especially our album material after, and only 5% of whatever we did had to do with marijuana at all.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
all about us, Sister Mariella.
Yeah.
Or, you know, earache my eye, or you know,
Yeah.
kind of like that. But that's kind of the indelible image that we kind of became our image in the movies. In the movies, because we did all these different characters in the albums.
Yeah.
And you didn't know who was doing what, you know, because it was the voices. You
Yeah.
never saw us.
And those were brilliant.
And
Yeah,
so
it
when
was-
we made movies, that's what that guy looks like, and so that's who we became. You know?
But you kind of stuck to the character.
Yeah, yeah,
Like you just picked the characters. Okay, all right, we're gonna do this.
Those were the strongest characters, and for the movies, they were the absolute strongest characters. If we can make a bunch of movies about these day in the life of these guys, cool, you know, because we knew these guys, and we did.
That's dope.
And it lives forever. Iconic,
Maybe.
you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
iconic.
there ain't no one who hasn't heard the name. If you're in the cannabis culture, you've heard the name.
You don't even have to be in cannabis. You know what you.
Well, that
Yeah.
too, but I'm
Yeah.
saying, you know, because the culture has grown for so many years,
Yeah.
constantly
There's
evolving and
no
growing.
element of society where marijuana does not enter into.
Yeah.
No segment.
I mean, you hear now these days athletes all saying they'd rather, you know, smoke weed and take CBDs as opposed to the over-the-counter
Yeah.
pain pills and all that shit. You know what I mean?
We were really good friends with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Yeah.
He definitely smoked.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's from New York. He was
And he was a big jazz.
big jazz guy, right?
yeah.
My wife and I lived at his house when I was making Up and Smoke, because it was more convenient for us being in town, because we lived way out at the end of the beach in Malibu, and he was that good a buddy, you know. So we lived in his guest house, and you know, he was a good friend, but it's so peaceful in the valley when the Giant's not there,
Right.
He's a very individual, intelligent, incredibly informed, and philosophical
Yeah.
guy.
I think a lot of people misunderstood him for a long time.
Yeah. Well, he has a distinct personality.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you watch that doc that came out? It was, you know, like the history of him.
No.
Yeah, I think what was it? What
I
did it
might
come
have
out on?
seen elements of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. It breaks down why he was so standoffish, or how it seemed he was standoffish.
Yeah.
It was just, you know,
Well, he was
one of those
separated
things.
from the herd when he was like around 14.
yeah.
You know, and he was going to be different from every other guy he grew up to with at that point, you know. And he was, I mean, he grew at such a fast rate. He grew like, I think, 8 or 9, maybe 10 inches in a year. And when he came back from summer vacation, he had grown at least 6 inches.
Imagine being a parent trying to find clothes for that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Said his knees always hurt, you
Yeah.
know. And so,
Serious growing pain.
Yeah, and all that too. And he was a great commercial airline pilot too.
Yeah. Yep.
An airplane.
That's right.
but he was a friend of ours. We hung out a lot around. He was a very cool guy. But he had a distinct personality. It was not terribly open, but when you knew him, it was.
Yeah.
You know, so it was,
Salute to the cap.
yeah.
Before we go into the asylum, the legend here, my man Richard Cheech Marin doing a meet and greet at OG Cannabis Cafe, February 27th from 6 to 8 p.m. So all y'all that are in Southern Cali, you must go support. Doctor's orders.
That's right.
Smoke 2, go see him at the meet and greet. know what I'm saying? Or
Hell yeah.
smoke more than 2. I'm just saying.
Yeah, or just-
On the minimum. On the minimum. Now we're going to open up the doors to the Insane Asylum. That means y'all got a comment, question, shout out, suggestion. We're here for it.
Welcome to the Insane Asylum.
All right, let's do this. We got Elmo up in here asking Cheech, what was it like working with Betty White?
They want to know what. How
Oh yeah,
was
he
it?
can't hear.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Working with Betty White.
You gotta tell me this shit. I'm old.
Oh, we forgot. Yeah, that was our bad. We
Yeah,
forgot to tell
sorry.
you.
One more time, Bolton.
Say it again.
We got Elmo up in here asking Cheech, what was it like working with Betty White?
Ah, it was my dream come true. Betty White was the very first person I ever saw on TV as a
Really?
kid.
Wow.
The very first person. She was I think she was 18 or 19, and she was the teenage hostess of this dance party, kind of like American Bandstand.
Really?
But in L.A., Al Jarvis's make-believe ballroom. She had just graduated from Beverly Hills High, and she was the perkiest little cute and sexy at the same time.
Ooh,
man.
Betty White.
Betty White. And she used to come out in her little tight sweaters all the time. And I was, wow, a little young kid. I'm like, wow, she's cute, you know.
Yeah.
And I followed her throughout her career, and the opportunity came up to be on the Golden Palace with her. And I just jumped at it, man. And it was a great year, and we became buddies.
Right on. Salute to Betty
Oh, yeah.
White.
She was so great.
Yeah, she's amazing.
She was great on her comedy roast.
Oh man.
Oh, man.
She
Amazing.
fucking killed that.
I was amazed at how
You
funny.
could tell her any joke.
Yeah, vulgarity
any
wise
joke.
and everything. She loves
Yeah.
it.
And she was-
She was great. She was vulgar herself with some of her jokes.
Oh,
They were
yeah.
hilarious.
when she was telling the joke, she could tell it, and straight face. That's what made it, so good. But
She's been killing it for so long. I mean, like she did 2 roast, right? She did the one that's like closer to now, right, for us,
And the old
then the old school Dean Martin roast,
yeah.
and she was hilarious then too.
When I worked with her, she had never made a movie.
Really?
Yeah, and she had done 8 straight series, of
TV
series
Yeah.
that had run for years.
Yeah.
But never made a movie.
Wow.
And then she started making a movie after that, and she was a ray of sunshine, dude. And
Right
she
on.
was just cool.
Yeah, she always seemed like she was very like super quick, witty,
Yeah.
and just amazing. She looked like she had the raddest energy to be around.
Yeah, she is. We you spend a lot of time on set with people when you're doing a show with them, and yeah, she's cool.
I know.
We got Jason saying love and respect to the legendary Cheech. And we got the city of Riverside, California saying we love us some Cheech over here.
Baby. Thank you, very nice.
We got STL Batman asking, hey Cheech, does Howdy Doody got wooden balls?
That's how they do it. Holding balls, man.
We'll have to cede her to that.
And we got Megan up in here saying, so much love and respect to you, Cheech. You're a huge part of my childhood. To this day, when your movies come on, I stop and watch them. Who picked your outfit for earache my eye?
That kind of evolved over the Tommy actually did that bit very first, and he did it on stage, and I go, no, I think I can do it better. and that kind of the tutu was an element right at the beginning.
We got Twackalack up in here just giving us the blessings to the crew. Thank you.
Salute.
What up?
Salute.
Thank you very
Salute.
much.
And we got Megan again saying, my 80-year-old grandmother would watch Cheech and Chong movies with me. Also, your character in Dusk Till Dawn still
Yes.
cracks me
Oh.
up.
Yes.
He got that big pussy.
It was great to see you in that.
Yeah, man.
That came out of a reading. Robert Rodriguez. It's a Robert Rodriguez movie, and he calls me up and he says, "Coming down, we're going to do a reading with the cast of that movie." And I got down and he says, 3 or 4 guys, 2 or 3 guys couldn't show up. Can you do their parts just for the reading? I said, yeah, okay. And it was Harvey Keitel was in the room, and I can't remember who else. He read it, and we did the parts. So I get in thank you very much, and we drove away, and my phone in my car rings. It's Robert and Quentin, and they said, we want you to do 3 parts. The other parts that you read, we want you to do those 3. I said, yeah, I could do those.
Yeah.
No problem. And so that's how that part came to be, you know.
That was cool that they did that.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We got. My favorite was the snapping. Snapping pussy.
Oh, yeah. No, that came out of being in, from Tijuana, going down to Tijuana as a kid. As a teenager.
Yeah.
Because it was right there.
Life experience.
It was right there.
Right there.
Yeah, I've seen that bar scene many times.
We got Fernando up in here saying, Cheech and Chong, thank you guys for the laughs. We seen you in Tahoe a few years back and had a blast. Also, thank my dad for introducing me to your guys' audio and movies.
Oh, thank you very much. Thanks to everybody around. We got a Cheech and Chong product for every age group.
Yeah, it's absolutely
from
true.
womb to tomb.
And Fernando again's asking, how is it working with Tim Leary? Did you guys drop LSD?
Well, sometimes.
Attaboy.
No, Timmy was a really good friend of ours, man. Because we heard that he was talking about us in his lectures, because he would go around doing lectures. I says, well, if he's talking about us, we can have him be in our movies. And so we got in contact with him, put him in one of the movies. We became friends, and we hung out a lot all the time. And really, he would come out to the beach where I was living, and he was a great astronomer. He really knew his constellations and everything, and he'd point them out. And sometimes we'd take substances, and he'd point them out again. But he was a really tight buddy, and he was a psychedelic Irish pub rabble rouser. It was a Harvard professor and had published 26 books and was in 26 international prisons.
Wow.
I don't know anybody with that.
That's a hell of a resume, right?
Resume, right? Yeah.
Damn.
And he was laughed all the time, man. He was missing.
Did you ever hang out with Hunter S. Thompson?
Once he was a friend of Don's.
Ah.
Yeah, he was a friend because they lived near each other in Aspen.
Yeah, that dude used to go off the rails.
Yeah.
They made 2 movies of him, right? One is with Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Right? Which is made in like the late 70s, early 80s, maybe. And then the one with Johnny Depp.
Fear and Loathing.
Yeah.
Fear and Loathing.
And I think it's Peter Boyle who plays the attorney in the original one with Bill Murray.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious. But not really.
I gotta check.
Because it's not. It doesn't seem like it's meant to be like a comedy.
But it is. Dude, that car scene when Benicio.
Oh no, I was talking about the Bill Murray.
Oh, the Bill Murray one. Okay.
What is it called? Buffalo something in Buffalo.
Where the Buffalo roam.
Where the Buffalo roam. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
Yeah, you gotta watch it.
Yeah,
it's fucking trippy. It's way different than the one that Johnny Depp and Benicio does.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that whole thing is. I always tripped out on how that movie, the cinematography of it, like it made you feel like you were on the substance when to certain scenes you were like, oh,
that is the difference, because on the original one it's not really that. It's just more about the scenes. This is the cover. Bolton just showed it right now. Go ahead and pop it off.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never watched it.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, I've seen it. I remember seeing that at the video store as well too.
Bill Murray did a dope job for this, right? He was actually really good. So was Pete.
And that's Peter Boyle?
I think it is.
Yeah.
It's like right around.
Peter
You
Boyle.
can see him, yeah. You can see, yeah.
Barry, who is the cast of Where the Buffalo Roam? Peter Boyle. Hey, I know my shit. Bruno Kirby was in it.
Kirby. Who else?
Yeah.
Is there one? Wow. Version 1.
A version noir.
Yeah.
Oh,
1980.
you win.
All these folks were very young in this movie right here. Except for the folks that were already older.
It's almost 45 years ago, 44 years.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That was a big cast.
Mm-hmm.
He's supposed to be writing a book in this one, and he's off fucking around, like doing all sorts of shit. I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
All right,
It was a
next-
Rolling Stone article.
It was a Rolling Stone
Where it-
article. That's
where
right.
It originated.
Yeah.
And then the next one in the Fear and Loathing, he was writing about the Mint 400 in Vegas. That's what he went for. He was supposed to be writing about.
Yeah.
We got people in the chat asking, what does Cheech think of the graffiti towers in downtown LA?
Have you seen those?
I think I have. They're in downtown. There's a real high-story building that didn't get completed.
Yeah,
this-
see him from
this
out
one.
Frontier, yeah.
You know,
They're abandoned for 2
it's
years.
abandoned. You know.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, those. Yeah. Yeah. I haven't studied them too much. I mean, that's classic tagging. You know.
Yeah.
So they're an abandoned building in the middle of the city. Good luck.
For years.
It's crazy because it seems like it's changing every month. New
Yeah.
new
it is.
designs and new.
And they're starting to take them down.
I mean,
They're just covering it up with that black stuff.
And they're also
Yeah.
painting, but what a lot of Angelinos are pissed about is they're now spending tons of money to go remove this stuff.
Yeah.
Taxpayer money.
They're making a new canvas every week.
Yeah, and it's costing us ton. Just leave it. Stop.
Just
Or-
leave it
Or take the bill.
until these guys like
or do
they're
something about your abandoned buildings.
Exactly.
yeah.
You know.
How about that?
They said they're going to send the
part.
bill to the builder.
Well, they're not going to pay it.
Right.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
Nah,
It's a,
no
it's,
way.
it's a Chinese company, and they ain't giving us
They
nothing.
gave
right?
up everything, right? Like they gave up trying to even finish it.
Well, then
Well,
then the city owns an abandoned building.
yeah, they should. Yeah, they should repossess it, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Evict the owners. They said to actually finish the building. If they had to use the structure now, they'd have to spend like $1 billion to like get it up and going. So it would be more cost effective to tear the building down and start over.
Yeah.
And in the interim, you got a large structure in inner city
some street
LA.
art.
How much is it gonna cost if they do tear it down, like, or try to fix it, like, 2
Tear
million?
it down and make a parking lot, man. It's
Yeah,
packed
right.
down here. We need some
Demolish
more
it?
parking lot.
Yeah, 2 million.
More than that.
Wow.
To demolish it?
Yeah.
It's got to be more than that.
No, it's got to
Those-
be more than
those
that.
three-
You gotta,
just to demolish.
You
Oh,
gotta
yeah,
haul-
but the cleanup work.
you gotta haul that
Yeah,
shit away.
Exactly, the cleanup.
And it's
Yeah.
got to be
but
done.
the steel's worth something, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's
Yeah.
worth a lot.
All right, what else?
So
you
we'll
got?
see.
We got Chef Rob saying, what up, Pedro de Pacas?
Yeah, Pedro de Paca.
How you? The pacas is Chicano slang for Pacoima,
Yeah.
and which was
I
right
didn't know
next
that.
to
De Pacas.
Alamany, where San Fernando, where I grew up and went to high school.
Yeah.
818.
Pedro de Pacas.
We got Hood Hippie saying, shout to the crew, chat, and special shouts to the legend Cheech. It's great to see you on Be Real TV, and thank you for all the laughs.
Sure. Free of charge.
We got Psycho Beta Beatdown saying, yo, Cheech, where would you start if you and some people were to spearhead a national medical marijuana program for disabled veterans?
Oh, I think
Wow.
the part of the things, the organizations we belong to, that's part of their mission. But where would I start? Is that what?
Yeah, I think so.
Where would I start? I put together an organization that would build funds for that.
And identify who
And
would want to
identify
be in
who
that
they are.
program. Yeah.
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 Because it's hard, like making the programs and then, not being able to get the word out about it
Yeah.
to tell people that it's available to them, and then. After you tell people that it's available to them, convincing them to
Yeah,
come
yeah.
on, because some
It's-
people won't, they don't want to adhere to
Yeah.
certain rules and
Yeah.
shit like that. And,
Or it's difficult for them to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're enabled, disabled, or whatever their malady is. It's hard to move people physically from one side place to another, man. It's hard to get them, out of their comfortable couches and on, like, to watch them. Is that me?
Yeah. It's,
Hello?
he's got the headphones on. He can't hear.
they don't see.
First time it's not you, B.
Well, you could
It's usually me.
Yeah.
you could take it and say hello. How you doing?
No.
What he say? Hey, don't answer the phone, man.
Yeah, don't pick that.
Even if it's me calling,
It's the creditors.
the brilliance of stupidity. Is
Right?
like,
That was fucking hilarious, too. That's classic work.
you know
right
that is really what makes a classic comic is the balance between brilliance and stupidity
Yes.
that every one of us have and recognizes when they see it. You know, that's the important part. We connect with that audience.
Yeah.
It's Dave, man.
That's how Dave was born.
That's how Dave was born.
I don't know if you know the.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for real?
No,
Yeah,
That's
wow.
tight.
that was Tommy fucking with me.
Wow.
For real.
Man.
We got Mario shouting out Born in East LA, and we got Miss Angelique asking, how did you get that role for Born in East LA?
I auditioned heavily for it.
You know?
Yeah, I look so much like the guy that they just cast me.
That was a great movie. There was some really
man.
funny shit in that.
Born in
Like
East LA, that was really good.
Chong as the Jesus picture
Oh,
was
yeah.
fucking.
Yeah.
That's not Chong.
It looked like Chong. It looked like Chong in the picture. It wasn't Chong.
Everybody thinks that's Chong, but it's not Chong.
Oh my God!
I just thought
Forever
that was
we all
Chong.
thought that was
Some
Chong.
random Mexican, man. It's from T-Face.
Oh shit!
But everybody
We're gonna have
thought,
to look closer.
everybody thought that Chong was Chicano anyways, man.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
looks like
I definitely
Chong,
thought that
right?
was
It looks a lot like him, but,
But
it
it's
is
not
not
him.
him.
Shit, that's
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's even funnier.
I know. I was just with Paul Rodriguez last night, man. It was
We got to see him play. Him do a set not long ago. We were doing our Dr. Greenthumb smoke out whatever at the Ice House in Pasadena, and he was hilarious.
yeah, he's a funny guy.
I mean,
he's a
Yeah.
pro.
He is.
We used to play the Ice House all the time.
It's a cool place. It's a good vibe.
Yeah, we used to say we got to catch up on all our Disney movies now out here. Right? It was real conservative in Pasadena, yeah.
Yeah,
But it was a good stage for comics.
yeah,
He wanted to do the show. He said that night, he wanted to come on your show.
yeah.
So we got to reach out to him and get him on. 'cause
He's been on
I'd love to
before.
do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was a while back though.
Yep. No, but that night he was, yo, let's do the show again. And
Yeah, we got to
gotta
get him
hit
back
up.
on. Yeah,
No,
I gave him some good weed that night too.
Yeah.
I know he enjoyed it. Hell yeah.
We got Ask a Bum asking Cheech, were you ever arrested by Eddie Haskell?
Arrested by Eddie Haskell.
Haskell.
I don't recall that, Your Honor.
We got the Gooch up in here asking, can we get a moment of ohms for Cheech?
All right.
There you go.
Good. Don't fuck around.
Come on, man. You can hear it.
All
Bass is coming.
Okay, we need the bass. You could join in or just catch the vibration,
Okay.
sir. All right. Hey, chill out, man. See, we use you to chill us out.
There you go, man. Yeah, man.
He said, "Hey, that's me."
You ain't never heard a show do that,
I
right?
have never, in my long and illustrious career, ever heard it.
That's our tribute to you guys and
Thank
how
you
we
very
go
much.
like, well, we need to center ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
Chill out,
That
man.
was cool, man. Thank you very much. That's cool, man.
I felt really good.
Yeah, I feel good about that.
You know, I feel good. Nah, nah, nah.
Big shout to Jonathan. Thank you so much, man, for your super chat. He's actually always at West LA picking up the chicheladas.
Yeah,
Yes, he is.
that's right.
And we got Hybrid Cypher up in here saying, my dad introduced me to Cheech and Chong when I was 10. He's the best.
All right. Your
We-
father was cool.
It was.
We got Haig up in here asking, how did the idea for Corsican Brothers come about?
Corsican Brothers is a classic. Comes out of a novel. I'm blanking on who wrote it. But anyways, it's been made into the movie many times. It's a classic French novel, and we made I guess the latest iteration.
And it was hilarious.
Yeah. That whole concept.
Foucault.
Foucault, the evil Foucault.
Yeah.
Evil Foucault. That was Roy Dautrice, really great English actor. He holds the record for the longest running one-man show in Broadway history.
Wow.
Brief Lives. He was a 16th century diarist, much like Samuel Pepys, and he was came from a semi-royal family.
Wow.
But poverty-stricken basically.
Right.
But it was titles, and it was great. We met him in Australia. And you know what? Did you ever see Amadeus?
Yeah.
The picture. He played Amadeus's father.
Ah.
That was Roy Dutch. He was very famous, and his daughter was in Sound of Music as a kid.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a crazy movie, Amadeus.
Amadeus.
We got the Pope up in here saying new movie idea, Cheech and Blaze.
Yeah. I'm in.
Yeah, there
Definitely.
you
Let's
go.
go.
We got Kiko saying salute all the way from Fort Worth, Texas.
Word up. Salute.
We got
Yes, man.
We got HG asking, Cheech, do you smoke less cannabis now compared to years ago? I really enjoy the edibles and drinks, which allows me to smoke less.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like smoking. I have to admit, but I only do it when I have it.
Do you do? Are you doing more edibles these days, or still smoking?
No, I mostly still smoke, but I like edibles in certain situations. Yeah.
Can't overdo the edibles.
Fill the gap,
Yeah. I hear that.
We got Lit Dad asking, or he's just saying, yo, Cheech, I loved your performance in Tin Cup. You were the only reason I wanted to see that movie.
Oh, bless you. Long may you. Do you play golf? Oh, we're not
Yeah,
back and forth. That was a great experience. Great experience, man.
Working with Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
That was like at his he was peaking at that time.
Who was it? Rene Russo?
Rene Russo, Don Johnson.
Ooh,
Don
Don Johnson as well.
I knew Donnie from before because we were young bachelors in Hollywood together. You'd always find yourself at the same place. But there was this group of girls that they introduced me to him, and they were our friends. And so I knew him from a long time. I think he'd only had one movie out by that time. A Boy and His Dog. It was a cool movie. So we hung out, and then I didn't see him. I was already Cheech at that point of Cheech and Chong, and he was. But the next time I bumped into him, it was after Miami Vice.
Ooh.
Took off like a fucking rocket, man.
Damn,
Yeah, he hit a fucking great run.
Man, that was a worldwide sensation.
Man, every Friday night.
He's still doing a lot of good shit out there, man.
Yeah.
Don Johnson.
Then we met again I saw each other again he at a party, and I didn't see him for long. And then he got cast in Tin Cup, and he was the last guy cast. They went through a bunch of guys, and we were waiting on the set for him, and it was Don Hansen. Hey, it was like old time. Yeah. So we had a really good report.
Snapped right in, huh?
Yeah. And I went from there to Nash Bridges.
Chemistry.
Damn.
So that's but you're doing a lot of peddling in between. They ain't no one.
You were doing a lot of work then, man.
Yeah. But there's stretches where you go through like,
Yeah.
no work's coming in.
But I'll tell you what, you left a hell of a body of work for people to remember and say, hey, we should go get this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, like, because every time you delivered.
Yeah, well, I tried to anyways,
Like scene stealer shit, there's a lot of actors out there, they may get this like one like piece and they just steal the whole goddamn movie.
Everybody
in that one
remembers
shot.
that scene.
Yeah.
I like playing sidekick, I mean, those are the guys that I liked when I was growing up watching the movies. It wasn't the romantic lead, it was the guy that was the funny guy, and he did all the cool stuff in the movie. I like, those guys. Jack Oakey was and so that's because I could sing harmony.
Yeah. So you understood the dynamic.
Yeah. How and it takes being able to sing harmony or do comedic harmony.
Yeah.
To make that go.
It's
Some
the
people
same
have
thing.
some people are Everly Brothers and some people are Elvis.
True that.
Yeah.
There you go.
That is the
So-
truth.
We got Fernando asking, whose idea was it to say man after every line in your movies?
I mean, just the time, no?
You ought to see it before we doctored it. No, Tommy, he was in that rhythm, man.
Hey, man.
And so the editors used to call it, says, "There you go, a manectomy," and they yeah, I got 27 mans out today.
Hey, man.
But they were great. It was
Hey, man.
man.
Sometimes you get a triple going, right? Hey, man, you know, man.
Oh, man.
We got Medicine up in here asking, Cheech, have you ever seen anything paranormal?
All right.
Paranormal. Well, no. Why do you want to know? Oh, this is a question. Something. When I was living in Canada and I was living out in the forest, and saw something come down out of the sky, but just the last part of it when it was good, and it was a big kind of round thing. It just kind of descended, and we were out in the forest. It came down and made kind of a low hum, and then it disappeared. And then I heard dogs barking and stuff like that. And I asked everybody if they'd seen it. Nobody. But there had been sightings, UFO sightings in that area. So,
Whoa.
but I don't know.
That was the, yeah.
I ain't gonna stake my rep on that.
But you did see it.
Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
very clearly, you know. But I saw the Northern Lights one night that was like, mother. So the guy I was working, the potter that I was working for was his assistant apprentice, very famous potter in Canada. His name was Edgar Hanchuk, and he had won the bicentennial exhibition award the year I got there, and he was really the first Western potter to win the award and everything. And he was a Ukrainian of descent, and he loved, but he was a hunter. He loved living out in the wild and hunting game and stuff. And he was gonna take me pheasant hunting. So you have to get up like 4 o'clock in the morning.
God
to go
damn.
pheasant hunt.
Dang.
Apparently,
It's commitment.
to go out to where they are. He pulls up to my cabin, and as soon as he gets out there, there's this like giant light in the sky, right over our heads, and it comes down in like these fingers all around us, and like we were in a tent, all the way to the ground from that, and it was like you could smell it. There was like an ozone, and they would change like purple, green, red, blue, but like right over us, all the way to the ground, man. Like we both stood there, like, you know, because usually it's pictured as kind of like sheet lightning off in the distance. No, that wasn't this. We were standing in this, and we went, and he lived there all his life, and he'd never seen anything.
You guys didn't try to run or anything like that?
No, where are you gonna run?
Good. Yeah, we're gonna run
The
too.
bolts are gonna get you.
Yeah, for sure.
Damn.
They're gonna spread that tent out.
Yeah, and it went on for a long time, you know, and we just stood there like, oh hell, and then it went away. So
Yeah.
is that a UFO?
Yeah, I would
I
say
think
so.
so.
I mean, you get there's more and more sightings being put out there
Yeah.
these days, and There's
I'm
got-
a
there's
total
something out
Ancient Alien fan, man.
Yeah, for sure.
I watched that.
I watched it too.
Yeah.
Do you ever watch Skinwalker Ranch?
Yeah.
That one's a trip right
There's
there.
some electricity happening out
yeah,
there. You know,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You got anything else up there?
Yeah, we got Funky Doobie. He's giving us the Orale Vato. What's happening?
I wasn't an hour late.
And Hybrid Cypher's asking, did you guys ever hear Korn's version of Earache My Eye?
Yeah, I did. I sang on it.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
No, did I?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
They asked me to. They were big fans again, and my son at the time was a big Korn fan. I think he was 14, and he was a guitar player, and he played all their shit. You know, I bought him that 6-string. No, it was a
Seven
Yeah,
seven
string,
string
yeah.
guitar, so he could play all that. And so they asked me they were gonna play at the Whiskey during the day. It was a radio promo, you know, and so like during noon they were gonna played. So would I come up and sing with them? So and it was my son's birthday. He was 14. Joey.
Yeah.
And so we went out there and kind of packed at the Whiskey Go right in the. I went up. So they played and I sang with them and so but before that. Joey was off the leash and he's walking around the club, with the Whiskey Go. It's the first time he's ever seen this place, and this is interesting, So and then it was his birthday, and I dedicated a song to him, and everything. And so when we got back home, he goes, "Hey, Dad, now I know what that smell is."
That I've been smelling my
Like, I always wondered what that was.
Yeah, when you go out to the lawn and then you come back and then we watch something together. Yeah.
14, huh?
Anybody
right.
who has a dad who smokes has that day.
Yeah.
Because we all grew up around the smell and didn't know what it was. And then one day
it
somebody
all
smoking
connected.
weed, like, that's weed. I'm like,
Yeah.
this guy been smoking.
I connected the dots for my daughter one time
Yeah.
by accident. I smoked in the house. I thought she was asleep. And she said, "Pop,
Yeah.
what are you doing?"
You're like,
I froze like a possum. You know how they freeze?
Yeah.
you're just like,
My bad. All right, what else you got?
We got Utah Hawk saying, Cheech, thank you for kicking it with us, dropping the knowledge and stories. You are a legend. You're an icon. As a 70s child, this is the shit. Shout to Be Real TV.
Salute.
oh yeah, Utah Hawk.
And then we got this just sent in by My Ferret Stash My Weed. He's showing this off.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's nice.
Cool, man.
That's dope.
How does it feel to see all the art of you guys everywhere? That just like you guys are in our culture embedded.
It's amazing. I mean, it's you never look at that shit.
It's good.
I collect fan art too, man. They're really good. I got some really good ones, man.
Great.
How long did you keep the brochure?
Until when did I cut it?
It's a good question, Bobo.
Yeah.
I'll tell you exactly when. When and Dust Till Dawn.
Oh, that was when you got it.
No,
That's when you cut it off.
yeah, because I had to do 3 parts.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I was going to another shoot to do another movie at the same time. I was doing 2 movies at the same time. I said, well, the only way I could do it is if I, keep thinking it on and off, so I cut it off. So I showed up on the set of Dust Till Dawn. After I did, I was coming for some other movie, and nobody recognized me. I mean, what's her name? That was the actress.
Selma Hayek?
No, the other one.
Juliet? Lewis?
Juliet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I came and started talking to her. Yeah, and we'd been working together for a couple of 3 weeks. How you doing?
Like, who are you?
A new superpower.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I had it for a long time.
Yep. You had a king brochure right there.
Yeah.
We got HG, the last one so far, asking the host at the table, who introduced you guys to Cheech and Chong?
Parents.
That's a great question.
Mine was my parents for sure.
Your parents?
Oh yeah, they had the albums. Like I said, my dad smoked a lot, and they had 3 records, and there was one that was already open, smoked, and then he kept the other 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, for me, it was my neighbor, next door neighbor, Luis Reyes, rest in peace. But every day we'd get out of school at 3, and then we'd get to home by 3:30, and his mom didn't come home till 5, so we would pull out all the Cheech and Chong records and listen to them before his mom got home.
Yeah, really?
And as soon as she got home, like, oh, what's going on? Oh, nothing. We're just hanging out, and we would just laugh. And that went on for a couple of years, where we listened to all those albums over and over for years.
So in her mind, what was nasty about those albums, or did she even know?
No, she never knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we just assumed because this was the funniest thing we had ever heard in our lives. We were like, oh my God, this has, and it had, just like a bunch of, we didn't know. So we just thought we were just pulling off the most like Mission Impossible thing. Like, we're going to listen to these albums, but they're never going to know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's so Luis Reyes and Mario and Robert Saldana for sure.
How about you, Bobo?
It was my dad. I was telling Cheech that my dad had brought the album and the one with the paper, and I recognized it because I recognized the bamboo off his shoebox.
Right. Out of his shoebox.
And then he told me, he says, "Don't touch this record. Don't put it on. Don't do anything." Because I used to always play records.
Sure.
Don't touch it. And then my friends would be like, saying all these references for Cheech and Chong, and I didn't know anything what was going on.
Yeah.
Till I finally heard the record, and I'm like, wow, that's what they were talking about.
Yeah.
But it was my dad.
You know, we were so different from the other comedians at that time, our peers of George Carlin, or their records were recordings of their live show. And we went into the studio and made up all these characters, and it was very atmospheric in a day when people were starting to really use earphones and compact discs were coming in. And, plastic was still king, but there was two major shifts in that period, where they changed formats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was.
I think I got onto you guys from one of my cousins. Remembering correctly, one of my cousins was tapped into you guys, one of my older cousins, and I caught it by chance. And then I started hearing, through other sources, because I was hanging out in cannabis circles since I was 13.
Mm-hmm.
So, references. And then finally I caught on to the movie. Probably was 15 at that point.
Yeah.
And
the movies was like a rocket ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I want to thank you for sitting in with us and taking the time. And I want to mention once again, February 27th at the OG Cannabis Cafe, my man, our mentor, our inspiration, Mr. Cheech Marin.
Thank you, very nice.
He will be there.
Thank you.
From 6 to 8. Don't be late.
Yeah.
You got any shout outs you want to give?
Clear the freeway.
Boom, yeah. Everybody get out of the way, man.
Friday traffic.
Yeah. Word up. How about you, C-?
Shout out to everyone here at the table. Cheech, a pleasure, an honor and a pleasure to have you here sitting with us. Shout out to the Treehouse crew. Shout out to everyone that watches this and hangs with us. You can follow me at C-Fan4 on all social medias. And big announcement tomorrow, so check for the social media, and then we'll see you in the mix. Eric Bobo.
All right. Catch me on the socials, on Twitter at Eric Bobo, on IG at Eric_Bobo, also on Discord, the Insane Asylum in Bobo's Corner. Cheech, thank you very much for joining us. Everybody here at the table, Treehouse, all the people that support us, the Discord mods, and Snacks and I, we say, buddy.
Shout out the Insane Asylum. Thank you guys so much. Shout out to Ray Morning Shot Films. Shout out to the Dominator. Shout out to Cheech stopping through. And what's going on, Blaze?
Nothing much, man. Thank you so much, Cheech, for coming and sitting with us. Absolute pleasure and honor. Everybody at the table, 5150s, Insane Asylum, wife, family, everybody else. Much love.
Word up. Don't forget to check the mix right after this on Be Real TV 2. If you're on YouTube, on Twitch, B_Real TV. Stay locked in. We will begin shortly. And if you're a member of the home site, www.breal.tv, you can check it out there. Joey, what's his DJ name? What's Joey's DJ name?
Joey Mojo.
Joey Mojo is going to spin a set with us today.
Hell
so
yeah.
make sure you check that out. You got Psycho, Leezy, C-, Javi Lopez as well. It's going to be a good one. So make sure you check it out. Stay with love. Love is the key. Can't say how much I love this man right here.
Thank you, man.
Inspiration to us in the music and cannabis culture always, and in the comedy and everything, man, in life. We strive to be what my man, Mr. Marin, is, and we say that with love. Swallow that.
Unindicted.
That's right.
BeReal.tv